Peace, love, light, and kingdom of black supremacy. So with this video, I wanted to talk about women's health. I wanted to talk about yeast infections. I wanted to talk about diet because from being a survivor of having a yeast infection, I felt it extremely difficult to get rid of it. And I just kind of wanted to kind of go over some basic tips, and I will try to go into some specific things that has worked for me to put my body at optimal level. Okay, so we can talk about yeast infections and what could potentially cause them. Yeast infections are, based off my experiences, can be caused by dairy. It can be triggered off with pregnancy and dairy combined. But as long as you are, this video is probably going to be more towards vegan, because even with the vegetarian diet, it just seems too risky, because I was a vegetarian for many years, and I actually was encouraged and inspired to become vegan because I just wanted to be done with yeast infections. But the other thing I do also wanted to talk about was herpes, not the private area herpes. I want to talk about the one that we might get on our lip. I want to talk about that. What triggers it? For me, what triggered it was milkshakes and ice cream cones specifically. So I got rid of that in my diet, but I'm the type of person where I still wanted to explore my limits. I still low-key wanted to be vegetarian. So I did eliminate the milkshake and the vanilla ice cream cone. I'm like, okay, but I still want to see if I can get away with the cheese and stuff like that. So while it helped as far as the herpes, or what people call cold sore, it helped keep that away. I started dealing with yeast infections. So I'm like, oh Lord. So it's like, so I've had more than one pregnancy. So I wanted to talk about that too. So with my very first pregnancy, I didn't have any issues with yeast infection. And I feel like for that particular reason, I was more celibate. Like, I was celibate for several months. Like, during the time I was pregnant, after I had my child, I was celibate. So the yoni is also very sensitive. So if you are looking to engage sexually, and you want to make sure your diet is 1,000,000% on point, and you also want to make sure you have the right tools to do kind of like a bath soak, just to make sure you're preventing it from happening. All right, so I'm just trying to make sure I cover everything. So my first pregnancy was great, but after that pregnancy, after I got pregnant a second time, the yeast infection was really, really bad. But it wasn't until recently where I actually decided to be a vegan. I was inspired and sparked to be vegan. Like, what it first started was dealing with cold sore. That's where it started. And then once I addressed my cold sore, then I had to deal with the yeast infection. So with the cold sore, the first time I had got it, it was when I had a milkshake. So I didn't put anything on my lips. I just kind of let it dry out naturally. I did end up biting it, which I really recommend you try not to, but it's extremely hard to not mess with it. But the second time I got a cold sore, I decided to use cayenne on it, and it seemed like it healed more sufficiently with the cayenne. So yeah, the cayenne I felt like worked pretty good. I didn't mess with my lip as much as I did when, I decided to just not mess with it at all and not put anything on it. Vaseline or lip balm. I didn't put anything on it the first time. But after that second time, I had it under control. I was like, okay, no more milkshakes, no more ice cream cones. Because with the ice cream cone, I was frequently eating. I was eating a lot, like daily, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. But with the milkshake, I had it like one time and it popped up. But with the ice cream cone, it took a little time, but I just knew. I'm like, okay, no more milkshake, no more ice cream cones. So I ended up cutting that out. But then, like I said, part of me still wanted to be vegetarian. I'm like, well, I like my cheese fries. But that caused issues. I started doing some Google research and whatnot. And one thing that is good for the body when you're dealing with yeast infections is drowning it with water. Lots, as much water as your body can stand. So you want to drink at least a gallon a day or more for to kind of flush out your system. But that is not enough for to address it. So you need water. You want to cut your intake of like rice. So no rice, no chips, no no grits. If you are going to eat these things, I would suggest eating once a day or kind of doing somewhat of a fast. Make sure that you cut your eating down by at least half or to even maybe 1/4. So your body is really getting flushed out by the water. And then you want to make sure that you're adding more garlic in your diet. So if you're preparing something for yourself, something small, maybe like 3 to 4 cloves, no more, no less than 3 cloves. So you want to chop up some fresh clove, maybe like 3 garlic cloves. So you like medium-sized garlic cloves, or yeah, about 3 medium-sized garlic cloves, and add it with like some raw vegetables. So raw garlic and raw vegetable, like what I did was I added that to like cucumber, and yeah, garlic is definitely going to help you. I've also read on Google that some people have actually used garlic to be inserted within the vagina. Have I done it? I have done it, but I didn't do it this go round. Like this last yeast infection that I had, I did not do it. Yeah, I decided not to do it. But I did eat a lot of garlic. Like I put a lot of fresh garlic in my food. If you are cooking for a family, you want to do half of a garlic bulb in your food. You want to do no less than half a garlic bulb. You know, garlic is really good for you. And then as a rice replacement, quinoa, armith, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but those ancient grains, you want to stick with an ancient grain. Like I said, if you have to or must eat rice, you definitely want to cut it down at least half or by 1/4. So whatever you typically eat, you want to cut it down by half or 1/4. What else? During the time that I was trying to get rid of my yeast infection, no fruit. Oatmeal is extremely good for you, but make sure that you're putting the minimal amount of sugars and sweeteners in it. I know it sucks, because what's oatmeal without sweeteners or sugars? But your body will thank you. I'm trying to think, did I include everything in this video as far as diet is concerned? I think I did. Because on the very last day when my body was 100%, I did decide to get me one of those naked beverages. It was like a strawberry and banana. It was really good. It did not really affect me, but mainly in your last stages, you still want to make sure that you're putting enough water in your body so that way you're not doing something that would cause it to re-trigger again. All right, so the diet portion of handling yeast infections I covered. So let's go to the upkeep, like the like how to prevent it and also treat it. So what I did was I first started off with I did a sea salt, Epsom salt, baking soda, apple cider vinegar, and tea tree soak. And I have found that on Google. It's a basic detox bath that you want to soak in. That helps soothe it. But I want to stress out, you will, if your body is like mine, I guess bodies are different, you probably will not beat your yeast infection unless you change your diet, because that's where I started at first. I figured I could still eat what I want as long as I was drinking enough water, and I did my bath soaks. Also, was doing the coconut oil for a while, and it does soothe, it does help, but that's all. It's not gonna cure you or heal you. The only healing that's gonna heal you is if you actually change your diet. And like I said, I do recommend the vegan diet. I do 1,000,000%. I do recommend the vegan diet. The other thing they tell you to stay away from is canned beans. So if you're using dry beans, those are good. But canned beans most of the time have sugar in it, and they suggest that you stay away from canned beans. Now, I would think that if you rinse the beans, you're probably fine. You're probably fine. But again, when it comes to rice and beans, you probably want to. I still would cut that in half, even if you're even if it's beans. I still would cut rice and beans in half, because it seemed like it bothered me a little bit. So definitely half to a quarter of what you would normally eat, and just make sure you're drinking lots of water. So you're kind of fasting too. You're flushing out your system. That's your most important thing to do. Okay. So yeah, so I started out doing that bath soak, that basic bath soak that I told you about. So you're looking at a fourth of sea salt, a fourth of baking soda, a fourth of Epsom salt, a third of apple cider vinegar, and then 10 drops of tea tree oil. That's what you want to use as a bath soak. That's what I decided to use, and I did that for several days. Like I said, it wasn't until I actually changed my diet, and that's when I really seen some results, and I really was able to cure this thing. So yeah, I used that for a little while, and I was actively using the coconut oil, but then I stopped using the coconut oil because like I said, it does not cure you. It soothes you for the moment, but in order to really change, it would be your diet. You have to change your diet. So I stopped using the coconut oil. I still was doing the bath soaks, but the coconut oil, I stopped using it. So I just stick to the bath soaks. So then after a while, when I was getting closer and closer to 100% healing, I did like baking soda soaks, and then I did apple cider vinegar soak. So apple cider vinegar soak, I made sure I had put a cup of it in my bathtub full of water. Just put a cup of it in my water, and then with the Baking soda, same thing, just a cup of it. And it helps soothe too. But again, I can't stress enough how important it is to address your diet. I wanted to make this quick video because I felt it was extremely hard to come across what would actually cure this yeast infection. And I just wanted to share, I feel like it was useful information for women who have issues with this. And I just wanted to put it out there so you don't have to research, because it shouldn't be that hard to find this information. It should be easy. Health should be free. Health should be easy to find, but you know, everything's set up to where people have to try to make money and all this other stuff. But I definitely want to make this video. And that's pretty much it. I covered all of my bases. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. So peace, love, light, and keep noble black supremacy. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you like the content. Make sure you comment, and make sure you share.